LMPD says that it has arrested a person connected to that deadly shooting at a driver's license branch last year. At the time of the incident, the accused boy was only 17 years old. And right now, the department is getting ready to give an update on the investigation that led to that arrest. Let's go ahead and dip in and take a little listen.
This vehicle was taken from a dealership. Through the investigation, we found that the dealership had not yet known that the vehicle was missing. So it was reported stolen after the shooting, but it was taken several days prior. The vehicle was processed by our crime scene unit. Evidence was obtained from that vehicle, and we were able to send that evidence to DNA Labs International. With our partnership with them, we were able to get several DNA profiles from inside that vehicle. Over the past 17 months, the lead detective in this investigation has written and drafted and served approximately 50 search warrants for this specific investigation. These search warrants were able to obtain evidence so we could identify the individual that was charged yesterday. He was charged with murder, wanton endangerment, and receiving stolen property. At the time of his arrest yesterday, he was already on HIP for committing unrelated incidents. Additional DNA profiles have led us to identify other people who could be involved in this. One possible suspect who was identified through a DNA profile has since been murdered in a separate homicide. This is still an active investigation as we are still trying to identify the third suspect from this incident, but we need the community's help to solve these cases. We ask anyone with information to call 574-LMPD. Through the cooperation of eyewitnesses and the use of technology ranging from DNA, surveillance video, cell phones, and GPS, we were able to get justice for these families. Louisville has had a dramatic decrease in the last 2 years of criminal homicides. Currently, LMPD is just shy of a 60% clearance rate mid-year. This is an unprecedented number. It is much higher than previous years. And it's due to the fact that our detectives are able to have fewer cases and work those cases because these cases take time and they take patience. We want the families to know that the other families of homicide victims to know we've not forgotten about your family, your member. We ask you to take these investigations. Many times we do know who committed these murders, but due to double jeopardy, we need proof beyond a reasonable doubt before we can charge them. If we charge someone without enough probable cause to make sure that the arrest sticks and that they go to prison, then no matter what happens, if we find additional evidence later, we can't go back. So that's why it's crucial to have as much information, as much evidence as possible. And the biggest thing for past homicide victims' families that we are still working for justice for you. Many times we have exhausted technology search warrants to find those other homicide suspects. And it's why it's crucial for eyewitness testimony to come forward and tell us what they saw or what they heard. We are doing everything possible to bring justice and closure for the families of every single homicide victim. Now I'll take questions.
In you all's email, the charge is listed as murder complicity. Can you say what the then 17-year-old's role was in this triple homicide?
The question is, the charge was murder complicity, and what was the role that the 17-year-old played in the homicide? At the time of the murder, the individual arrested yesterday was 17. He is currently 19 years old. He's charged with murder complicity because he and two others, all three fired their weapons into a line of people standing outside of the DMV.
How confident are you that the second, now deceased suspect was one of the shooters at the DMV that day? And can you identify that person? The
question is, how confident are we that the second suspect that was identified through DNA
was at the scene?
Was at the scene.
Yeah.
So a DNA profile was developed from the vehicle once it was recovered. So again, it was a possible suspect. We believe that that would have been someone who was also present during the time of the homicide, but unfortunately they were murdered in a separate homicide. So we feel confident enough to say that we believe it's him, but at this point, with him being deceased, we're unable to continue to question him about that. And so that's...
Are you able to say who he is?
We're not able to say who he is. It's still an ongoing investigation.
Can you tell us the day he was murdered?
You're taking a live look right now at the LMPD press conference regarding that shooting at a driver's license over in Fern Valley, or a driver's licensing office over in Fern Valley. We're going to have more on this coming up in the next half hour, including more details about that DNA hit that they got from those that stolen vehicle, the 3 suspects that they say were involved, and the one that they are still looking for. We'll get that to you coming up here in just about 30 minutes.